not cold. You're not going to make it come to 5. Follow along in the book, we'll have some books here.
Rabbi, is it okay to take photos?
It's sorry,
Ben.
then it's being recorded by the way. If you so you don't hear comments.
Okay.
Okay. So we start with the prayer on 112. We should be saying we should be saying all the things obviously. Never always we brought it so خلاص مساحة خلاص تقصد سنة بس خير عملتي لا يصير من باخد ضيله من خير شيء في يوم من دابا بيفوز على اسم كاتب مش صار مثل مثل الله من خط الله يخلي يقش راك من اخو صعب بيشوف مثل شان كثير كاتب المعصيه من سامت من اخو ليس نخلي رب نقل يقول الله كما اخو مصاب اخو مش مخ اخو اخو راح نخلي مش خصم مش خمسه we're here gathered together to participate in a very special mitzvah, commandment, a good deed, to participate in something that a person can do for himself. It's called chesed shalem, it's a kindness of truth. The person needs everyone else to be there. And while we believe that soon there will be the coming of Messiah and the resurrection, we do burial, and we do it like our ancestors. And in fact, we find that God Himself was involved in the burial of Moses. It's very special. That's very, very special to come. In fact, the more better, but unfortunately, due to the current situation in the world with the virus, we are very limited of who could come. And we gathered the closest that are here today, and we'll hear a few words from the family. We'll hear from Sam, who's in China. And, we'll talk a little bit about Reuven ben Yaakov. Whenever I hear the word, whenever I would call him up to the Torah, I always think about the original Reuben of the 12 tribes, the Jewish people. His name was Reuben ben Yaakov. He was the son of Jacob. This is a very special name that he carried. He was a very special, he was a humble, unique, very calculated man. And ever since I knew him, we had many roots that we had together, going back all the way to the first Reuben, the son of Jacob, all the way down to his later years, where he grew up. He grew up where I spent summers in Monticello, New York. So we would always reminisce about it. And when he came, he started with services. He would come to services way back, I would say probably a good 10 years ago. in Norm Katz's backyard when he had the minions in his house, and um, and then ultimately he came to our synagogue for Shabbos, and then we had been celebrating ever since, many holidays together. It was an amazing person. He always would include Major. Major was who got to connect with the people in our synagogue. Even to her later years, she was still connected. And I've, he's given me many times advice, and he was very, he was the businessman of our community. And we would be very missing him very much, and we'll have his memory in our thoughts. And his involvement, he was involved for many, many years. He was involved through his coming to minions and coming to the celebrations and bringing the family. Who came to the lightings of the menorah and to celebrations of Passover. In fact, we arranged that we should be able to celebrate Passover in China with the family, with my brother-in-law, and we supported. And so today we are at the moment where all the good deeds go with the person. The person does not take with him any wealth, anything that he amassed throughout his life. It's a simple casket in white shrouds like everyone else, and but all the good deeds and all the continuation of what the family will do, we could put into his bank account, spiritual bank account. He can't do it anymore. So any good deed that we do, we mention his name, and that's why you have many times it says memory of. It's not only a memory; it's an elevation of the soul. You elevate the soul. He gets merit, and he's on high, being going up in heaven and going higher and higher. All the good deeds that he does makes it more and more precious. We don't have any idea how it works, but we know that it works. That's what happens, and we so what we could do is we could ask him, since he's in a spiritual realm and his soul is still on, and the soul it continues, even part of it is here, and that's why we come to the grave to pray to God on his behalf, or to ask. He should pray for us, because that's what he could do, is be a good Tibet, as we call it, a good someone who's asking and pleading for us and for the family and for all of us. Um, and we could do good deeds and add to his merits. That's what's happening now, and in the time as we come, the burial is done in, in the ground, back to the ground, but after, when God will send the Messiah and God will bring us to a new world, will reunite with all those who parted with us. I would like to ask if we could hear from Sam.
I'm going to move this over here so you guys see. Sam? What's this thing? Hey, Sam, we're ready. Show us your I chatted with him earlier, so
Okay.
I'm gonna do the opposite.
You hear?
1 second. Okay, go ahead. You there?
Yes. Can you hear me there?
Okay, go again.
Yes.
Keep talking, Sam. I'm trying to figure out the loudest volume I can get you at. Are you there? No, I can't hear you. And I chatted with him earlier, so try again, Sam.
Okay.
Here, can you guys hear him? That's most important.
Thanks, Rabbi, and I'd like to thank everyone who's joining us today, and also for everybody's kind words and messages in these past few days.
Sam, is your volume turned up?
You
Speak louder.
Okay, whenever those close to you pass away, you often take a moment to reflect on the bigger questions in life. How do you want to be remembered?
Call you and see if
What
that
type of
volume's
imprint
better.
will you leave on the world? How do you want to live your life? Our father, Ron, by all accounts, had many things to be proud about in his life. Hey,
Hey Sam, yeah, we can't see you or hear you very well, so maybe we want to talk to you.
oh, I think it's just on delay. Did it? You guys can't hear me?
Can't hear me?
We can hear you now. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to stay on the FaceTime?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. Whenever those close. Okay. Okay. Should I start again here?
I want you to be able to see him. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Here, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put this in front of me here. You guys can see and hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to. Okay, I'll just restart here. Thanks, Rabbi. And I'd like to thank everyone again for joining us today and for everyone's kind words. Whenever those close to you pass away, you often take a moment to reflect on bigger questions and how do you want to be remembered, what type of imprint you want to leave on the world, and how do you want to live your life. And our dad, Ron, by all accounts, had many things to be proud about in his life. There are many stories, accomplishments, and moments that we can talk about. And I'm looking forward to sharing and hearing more from everyone in these coming days and weeks. But today, I wanted to share three kind of more simple ideas that defined our father. These ideas are things that not only helped shape Ben and I to become the people that we are, but I think are good lessons on how to live a life with purpose, a resolve, and love. So the first one, Dad had an irrepressible zest for adventure and exploration. It was driven by a deep intellectual curiosity of someone who was constantly on the search to try new things, have unique experiences, and expand his horizons as wide as possible. He loved to travel the globe, not only to the mainstream destinations, but in many cases to the unique places off the beaten path, experiencing the sights, sounds, smells, and tastes of a world that never seemed big enough to fully satisfy his quest to see something new. This love of adventure and exploration is what led him to our mom, a perfect match who shared his wandering and curious spirit. It led him to jobs doing interesting work all over Asia and the Middle East, around the world. And it gave him the gifts of speaking multiple languages. And it was really part of the foundation that built his network of family, friends, and colleagues of all types from all walks of life. And watching our dad live this way really encouraged me to keep a broad perspective on the world, to embrace diversity, to try and understand things from many different angles, and to follow your heart and do what inspires you. I don't recall any discussions when I was younger with Dad where he specifically told me what I should do with my life. On the contrary, he always talked about the fact that what he wanted most was for us to make our own choices, and that he was just giving us the tools to do that. In hindsight, it's not surprising to see Ben and I embrace a diverse global point of view, choosing unique paths for ourselves, and always keeping our level of curiosity strong. It's what we knew growing up. The second idea I wanted to share today was about Dad's uncanny knack for keeping a positive outlook. Strong will and determination was one of Dad's most enduring traits. A realist till the end, Dad seemed to have a way of finding resilience even in the toughest situations, finding the light when things seem their darkest, and taking everything in stride as part of life's lessons. Go with the flow, as he would always say. Case in point, in the last few days, I've received a number of very touching messages from family and friends who have recounted that even in his final weeks, when he went on hospice, he was the one who ended up consoling the family member or friend instead of the other way around. Letting everyone know that they needn't be concerned because he was a very tough guy. And I think one of the ways he most effectively managed his outlook, his positive outlook, was through his trademark sense of humor, sharp, sarcastic, at times corny. Dad always had a punchline for every occasion. He definitely lived by the motto that laughter really is the best medicine. And if anyone is wondering, has this rubbed off on Ben or me? My 3 children will be the first to tell you how ridiculous and silly we both are, especially as adults. In navigating the ups and downs of life, Dad always knew that a positive spirit was contagious, and he was always willing to take the lead. The best way to sum it up is in something he said once to my wife, Adriana, in describing a tough situation. He said, well, I can either laugh or cry about it, and I'd rather laugh. This is who he was. And the third idea I wanted to share today was there was nothing Dad treasured more than his family and community. As all of you know, Dad was the living definition of devotion and commitment. He would do anything for his family without hesitation. For all of you who knew Dad well, there are far too many examples of this to recount just in one sitting. From sitting down to our nightly family dinner as kids, volunteering as our Boy Scout leader, countless hours playing family games at our house in the Poconos, helping us move to college, helping us move out of college, visits to New York, visits to Portland, visits to China, Ultimately, Dad's greatest gift, as we all knew, caring for our mother during her final years. No matter the time or circumstances, his top priority was always crystal clear. There was no place he would rather be than with his loved ones, such as today. Dad's connection to his local community also extended well beyond his family. He created deep and memorable bonds with many of you, with friends from all walks of life: Monticello, Hamilton College, Cornell, the Peace Corps, South Korea, Japan, Brooklyn, New Jersey, Mississippi, and finally Austin. And last but not least, his Jewish community in Texas, led by Rabbi Levertov here today. A very warm place, which we're grateful for, where he was able to maintain his very proud connection to his Jewish heritage and faith. What really stands out to me the most in Dad's relationships was that he cared immensely. Ultimately, this was Dad's purpose in life, we came to know. It wasn't work or finding professional or financial success or other material goals. It was a much simpler idea: spending time with and giving to the people he loved. Above all, this is my biggest lesson from him on how to spend our short time above all, this is my biggest lesson from him on how to spend our short time in this world, in the company and glow of those who matter most. Okay, last line. May he rest in peace and his memory be an inspiration to us all. Thanks. I could turn off the FaceTime, Ben. I'll turn it off.
Okay. Thank you, that was good.
Spoke to Ruven and Ron was within 3 days of his passing. I called up, and instead of him answering the phone, Ben answered the phone, and then said my father's not before I talk, but he'll give him the message. And then a few minutes later, he would come on the phone, and I said to him that you should keep on saying the Shema, the Hero of Israel, the Lord is one, Lord our God, the Lord is one. And he started saying it. He said it over and over again. And then we finished our conversation. Ben says that was probably his last words. His last speaking, his last words were when he spoke to us, but to me, because that's when things got downwards. Very, very special man. We going back in my memory lane, we're talking now from actually like more like 17 or 18 years ago, not just 10 years. And when my kids grew up, my younger kids grew up with him. They went even on Hanukkah. We went when he moved to the atrium. We had their Hanukkah party with him, and he was playing around with the kids, and they were coloring, and they were schmoozing, and besides that, he would come every week to the school to read a book for the kids.
You could hear all my words.
He really connected with the little kids. He was very, very, and thank God that we had enough chance this year to spend with Sam's children, because they all were stuck here for few months, they really got to spend time with the family. So, as we could say, he should rest in peace, but then also it should be a continuum, and he should be his memory should be for a blessing, and Tei Nafshe B'Tzura B'Tzura Chayim. We'll now proceed with the actual burial. It's customary that we don't give the shovel to each other for the fact of we're reluctant to do this mitzvah, but it's a big mitzvah. So once you shovel, so you put it down, and the other person picks it up and shovels. So first we're going to shouldn't mind take out the chapters.
I can't.
Oh, there.
I spoke to Allah. He will bring the lid, but we'll have to move everything away. So when you're ready, just let me know, and he'll come over and we'll have to spread the lid.
At the funeral, we'll also say verses of, it's called Shidduch Hadin, which is like accepting the judgment, which is on page 117, the English on page 119. Tutam in Polik, Chodrach Mishpat El Emun Rabbi Tzadik Yeshua. Tutam Cholpeal, Miyem Alim Matif Rashal, the Matu Mal, Made Misim Chai Made Shin Bayong. Tutam Chomasi, Miyem Matas Him is Ches and Kim Tas Husanek, Sa Shiba Basi, Al Chodrach Tutam, Rekapam Modirach, Hamel Bukhus, Al Obis Ban Khod, as Bukhus Barachman. Sadik Adnoy Mukhamis Hafish, Shabbat denk dat het gewoon groot begin in geest. Je nog dag in koeges. Je gaat naar achter is het al moet zo niet je. Help zo niet je. Maar je zijn ik liever je borg bijna hamis met ga je borg gewoon kilometers in zit. Ik ben in zo dat gezien die raad is meer ding. Dat dan ik zeg dus dat het is goed. Gewoon maar naar iets weg. Sadik dat nooit was moet dat bijna een schip dat mensen Tzedek Bemes Baruch Dain Ha'emes Shekom Mishpatot Tzedek Bemes Nefesh Tofad Yodecha Tzedek Moni Yodecha Yodecha Rachmat Tashin Tzin Yodecha Sim Malach Eref Yodecha Gedel Ha'etz Verb Hallelujah Asher Nechaf Kuches Koral Chibnad Nosus Mishkif Kidrachom Chifri Mal Lo Lahab Kiyashar Mitzubi Vasu Beyishim Melim Adnan Nasu Mino Rishim Melim Berch Rachmat Nasu Judas Rachmat Mosei Page 120, Lam Natsech in the Kerach Mizmor, 120, 121. Lam Natsech in the Kerach Mizmor, Shimazis, Lam Nazim, Kali Gamlia, and Gamli Yeshia, Pida Bechochnis, like this, these things, but happen as was it. That Koslam, Mayabra, Bina Kivis, Bini, a bit not hidden, the Ashmis, all the rest of the fish, with name coffee, big, napkin, Yachad, name, Hill, it was Khamim, Similarly, it was Nachim Hedon. Kimmatim مش من الناس هم مدير بدير كان مش ليس ما يزال مزغن مش مثل زاد كسامي خيم في ميتين تين وسال كتير شيء شاب ما بيصيرين شان بيكون سوون بعض الشيء ما يأخذ نفسي نفسي من الشيء في خيم السوال تيرو كي يعيش كي basically مثل كحات من نخرج بين تلاش بخير بليخ طب هذا رابع صدق تصلين أقدم because you shall come in turn to page 106 ومالي رحمي شيخين بامرويمين متسي منوخا نخينا تفس كان في أشخينا Normalisch, gleich mit Hedim Kiser Kiam als Hirim, es Nishmas, Ruvain ben Yaakov, Shalach Leilamei, Avur, Shnadu Tzedakah, Badash Karas Nishmasei, Beganeden Teimenuchosei, Lochein Balarachamim, Yastireyu, Beseser Knaf, Leilamim, Yisr Beseir Chaimis Nishmasei, Adonai hu nachlosei Yanuach HaMishkavi b'shalei Amen. So the service ends now. The mourners on the way out, everybody will stand in a row, and the mourners will go on the way out and will wish you God should console you. So, Walk through the 2 rows. Okay? Yeah. Walk both walks in. Did God come for you?